Hello, everybody. Hi, Karina. Hi, Luis. I'm going to interview Misface of Humanity, Hong Kong, but I would like to acknowledge the presence of Misface of Humanity, Canada. Hi, Luis. Okay. Let's wait for a while. Where is our... Yes, Luis, you've always been very supportive. Hi, Mo. Misface of Humanity updates. Hello. Nick. Let's wait for Juliette. Hello.
Hello, let me
Hi,
just
Juliet. I'm so sorry for the delay of our interview.
couple
Uh,
hours late, but it's okay. We made do.
yeah, I would like to acknowledge first the presence of Miss Face of Humanity Canada. Louis is here.
Yes.
Our runway coach, Mr. Ruben Davila, is also here. Hi, Sir Ruben. And then the Miss Face of Humanity updates. Uh, they have been very supportive of all the candidates. Okay, so the purpose of the interview, Juliet, is for our viewers and followers to get to know more who Miss Face of Humanity Hong Kong is, you know, and your advocacy and all like that. No? So let's start. Okay.
Sure. I'm
Yeah. Ladies
excited.
and
Thank you for having
gentlemen,
me.
it's an honor. Yeah, it's an honor and a privilege for me to introduce to you Miss Face of Humanity Hong Kong 2021, Juliette Louie. Please greet our viewers, Juliette.
Hi, everyone. My name is Juliette, and thank you for the lovely introduction. I am Miss Face of Humanity Hong Kong 2021 this year. I was Miss Hong Kong 2017. Today, I'm wearing my my Chinese International crown, just because I felt we were in the mood for it. And it's the Chinese International one, which is where I met all my sisters and all my friends for life. And it brings me so much joy and happiness and memories every time I think about that pageant. So yeah, that's who
Yeah.
I am, and
Wow.
I'm excited to be here.
Okay. Juliet, it seems that you are not a neophyte in the beauty pageant world, right? Could you please share to us, your journey as a beauty queen, before you become Miss Face of Humanity?
For sure. Um, so I guess how I got into it would be like the easiest way to start is that my dad kind of actually encouraged me to join, and he was like, "You should try it out after university. You know, you're trying this acting thing out now. Why not try pageantry?" And I was like, "Dad, it's not really my thing. You know, I'm not the girliest of girls. I'm not someone that I thought would represent a country or would even win. I knew that, like, for me, I've always loved being on stage. That is no questions. My first passion and my dream career was to be a dancer, a professional dancer, and I started that in Hong Kong. Then I moved to Canada. But because my parents asked me to go to university, actually, I was like, you know what, I'll finish university and then I'll chase my dreams, because I do understand from their traditional point of view that they wanted me to have something to fall back on. Now, after doing that and fast tracking and being like, I did it in 3 years. Here's my papers. Here's my graduation certificate. Let me do what I want. And, you know, along the way, because I was trying to chase afterwards more into an acting career, I was like, sure, I'll try out pageantry. And that's when my dad kind of like was like, well, I'll be your nominator. And so that kind of happened. And, you know, long story short, I ended up going to Hong Kong, competing, and had no idea I would actually wind up winning. I'm very blessed. It was such an experience. Good, lots of bad. But after doing the whole year, I was like, you know what? I'm ready now to focus back on my original, you know, career path, because I'm very like, this is my goals and this is how I want to achieve them in this time frame. So let's you know, let me give the crown to my next successor and let me move on with what I would love to do in my life, which is to come back to Canada and do acting, pursue acting. So now that I'm back
Okay.
here, I basically am a talent development coach. I am an actor, and I do that full time. Yeah,
Uh,
that is how
so,
I got
so uh,
into it.
the, yeah, Juliet, does that mean that it's not your first time to compete in the international pageant?
Yeah, so definitely for Hong Kong, it was, I guess you can say it was more local, but then because I won Miss Hong Kong, I had to represent Hong Kong to go to Miss Chinese International, where all of the other delegates from, there was Malaysia, there we had US, a bunch of US delegates, San Francisco, New York, shout out to Singapore, shout out to all my sisters, actually, I miss them so much. And we were supposed to have a Zoom call actually this weekend. Anyway, but what I want to say is, yeah, that was my first time competing internationally, but it's not my first time on stage. So I was
Mm.
definitely more familiar than being on stage than some of my other sisters were. But I loved every minute of it because, like I said, I love being on stage. I love performance. I love the spotlight, and it's challenging, but you know, it's a lot of pressure, but it's my dream. So
Mm. Yeah, amazing. Yeah, but you are based in Canada.
now I am based in Canada. That's right. So I kind of actually grew up in Vancouver, just to let everyone know a little bit more. I grew up in Vancouver up until the age of 8. I was born in Edmonton, oddly enough. And then from the age of 8 to 18, I moved to Hong Kong, where I lived there with, we were all united, finally, me and my family, my 2 siblings, my parents. And we lived there for about 10 years until it was time to kind of get into post-secondary school, which is why I ended up going back to Toronto, and I studied at U of T, so University of Toronto. And after
Mm.
graduating, I was like, you know what? Um, I like it here. I'm gonna try, you know, doing the whole acting scene over here, and that's
Mm.
kind of how I ended up becoming based in Canada. But I do have my Hong Kong citizenship, so I
Okay.
am representing Hong Kong proudly.
Okay, so how did you find out about the Misface of Humanity? Who selected you? How were you selected? All
How
these
did I
things.
get into this?
Mhm.
Yes, for sure. I actually thought I retired. Okay, so I would say I'm old, but I'm like getting there for pageantry world. I guess you could say I've been doing a lot of talent development coaching. So what that means is I actually do coach girls who want to join Miss Hong Kong and other pageantries here in Toronto. There's Miss Chinese Toronto. I've been a judge for them as well. And I've coached a lot of my clients overseas online, like yourself actually. And so what I would do is, I kind of did a little bit of advertising for that, and I guess they kind of saw that um, I'm still kind of active in that world in some sense, not competing, but am active. And so they actually reached out to me, and I'm very grateful that they did, because I didn't know what I was stepping into. Misface of Humanity is so different from other pageantries. It's not just
Exactly.
about your outer beauty. It really is. You got to be so intelligent, and I'm so honored to be representing Hong Kong. You gotta really know what you're doing, and you really gotta be the face of humanity. You're serving humanity. So it's funny because whenever I'm coaching my clients, everything that I talk about ends up talking about confidence, your inner beauty, how you can own life and just, have that power to do that. And because my coaching page I launched actually before Misface of Humanity, it's called No BS Factory, and it's a mindset. And so I made that page, and when Misface of Humanity approached me, I was like, that should be my advocacy. It's the mindset of, life, how to own life, how to, deal with tough times, what your mindset should be, so that when you are in those challenging times, or when you are trying to reach your goal, what your intentions are, so that when people are going through what they go through in today's crazy world, right, that they have the absolute strongest mentality, best mindset, so that they can conquer anything that they want to do.
Wow. So how long have you been pursuing your advocacy?
Yeah, so I think it's been more than over a year and a half now. I started this with the encouragement of my partner, because he knew that I was already doing coaching. I've always wanted to kind of just, even with other coaches, we'll have seminars and we'll do online, coaching, and we'll just post it up for free so that people can, we're giving this advice because we want people to, improve people's quality of living, right? Because we're trying to spread that message, that mindset, because it always starts with you, right? So then because of that, I just, I was doing it leisurely. Then one day my partner was like, you should make an actual page. And so I was thinking, okay, what kind of, I need a catchy name. I want something that young people can relate to, because our younger generations are even more, I guess you can say, more affected, especially when it comes to social media. And that's kind of how it focused into social media, because it's everywhere. And it is something that we all know can affect our self-esteem and how we feel about ourselves, what we see online, what we read online, how we take in information online. This is a huge reason and why I started this. And obviously, actually, thanks for the reminder, ITM. You guys are my #1 supporters. You guys are a big reason why I actually was able to compete in Misface of Humanity, and I really do appreciate that. So shout out to you guys. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for just reminding you're right there. And yeah.
You have a very bubbly personality. You're very articulate. I mean, you are actually exuding so much positivity.
Thank
Right.
you. That is the whole point, right? Like, because if you are talking about it, anybody can talk about positivity, but you really got to exude. When people want to listen to leaders, you have to exude some sort of energy and some sort of, you got to facilitate that environment so that people have, when they listen to you, they can come down to a genuine level where it's relatable too, because I'm as real as anybody is, right? I am a human being like everyone. I'm not anyone more special than you are. Everybody deserves the same respect. Everyone deserves the same power and confidence to pursue what they want to pursue. All I'm doing differently is just spreading that and maybe exuding that extra energy so that you can feel that I genuinely want this for
Yeah.
you, right? Because it's
And
not
by
with ill
yeah.
intention.
And by doing so, you are able to inspire people, right? A great number of people by just being you, showing such positivity and spreading such, right?
Yes,
Now,
absolutely. You just,
there,
sorry, go ahead.
yeah, you go. There are some comments here, no, that probably you might want to have your thoughts on it. From Annie Uni, freedom and free speech for Hong Kongers.
Yes, that is a huge thing right now. It's a huge social issue right now in Hong Kong, and it's honestly coming to effect, also showing here in North America as well, because of the whole COVID situation. You know, I don't want to get too much into that, but at the end of the day, free speech is super important. Agreed, but we need to not abuse the free speech, you know, and just be like, oh, I can say whatever I want. So, you know, I can say you're ugly, and I can, and say, and all those hate, negative things that we read online. That's also the reason why free speech is, there's a clash there. There is like
Mhm.
a fine line between what is free speech and what is, you know, conditional freedom, right? Conditional, we
Mhm.
live actually in a society of conditional freedom because
Yeah.
we have laws. You can't live in absolute freedom, because if we do, then people would be literally doing anything they want, and
And
that's
it would
not a
be a
good thing.
chaotic world.
Yeah, and there would be no justice, there would be no laws, and that's not necessarily a absolutely 100% good thing. The solution is to come to a compromise, and I think, you know, if as long as we're able to live in peace and harmony, that is the whole message of freedom of speech. Absolutely, it is an issue also social media online, because nowadays things can get political, and yes, we do get censored, or there are things that we get censored all the time for. But the issue is, we need to be fighting against those people who are silencing real issues that are real problems in this
Yeah.
world, you know, and that is a really important thing. That's why social media, it's so powerful. We should be able to use this for a good reason, not for
Mhm.
the bad reason. We shouldn't be spreading misinformation. We should be using this power of, like, you know, how fast news gets out. We should be using this power to spread a positive, uh, quality improving message, quality of life improving message, you know.
Mhm. Wow, wow, wow. Okay, so now that okay, you finally accepted to be the Miss Face of Humanity Hong Kong, and then what were your plans? No, actually, what were your plans to really, you know, pursue being a Miss Face of Humanity Hong Kong, and potentially Miss Face of Humanity? So what do you intend to really, you know, achieve?
Right. So my initiative and my campaign is called No BS Factory, and I'll just kind of tell you a little bit what it's about,
Yeah.
right? So first of all, it's a online platform right now where I would post any content, from a word post, a picture post, a video, a reel, anything to do with mindset, because I do believe in order to change humanity, everyone has to be on the same mindset, in the
Yes.
same values. They don't have to be the same person. You know, you have your own characteristic. You are unique to who you are, and we love that. That's what's beautiful about every one of us. But we should all have a mindset where we are, you know, no matter what negativity comes to us, it doesn't fade us, and that is really important, because what we obviously are always influenced by how people, you know, talk to us, what people say, what the social expectations are, right? So No BS
Mm.
Factory in itself is a mindset. So the online platform that I've created here is just so that I can share the mindset that you should have in order to deal with, you know, tough times. Like, for example, if you're in a tough situation, how can you get out of it? Well, you can try to change your perspective. Maybe there's always a light
Mm.
in the problem, and even if the problem is 100% devastating, something is learned. Mistakes in life, you learn something from it. There's always going to be some sort of gain, even though at the moment, in the moment, you feel like you lost everything, right? But
Yeah.
always in
Mm.
whatever you do, there's always, if you change your perspective, something good will come out of it. So things like that are messages I want to spread. You know, I just want to make sure people know that, you know, for example, here's a quote that I love going back to all the time.
Mm.
People are Beautiful people are not always good people, but good people are always beautiful people. things like that,
Yes.
just to remind people that, you know, no matter who you see online that looks beautiful, you might not know that they're a good person inside, or you might not know that they're really truly happy, you know, because, you know, we have a certain personality when we act online maybe, or that we're
Mm,
not necessarily ourselves. No BS Factory is the whole point is to be true to yourself, right? And to
wow.
have that mindset, be unapologetic of who you are and show the world, you know, who you are, because you can be powerful. If you listen to the way people tell you to do what to do, your life is not yours to live, right? Because then you're
Mm,
just living what people are telling you to do. So that's what No BS Factory is about. And I want to use this platform and with Misface of Humanity, and I want to blow it up into something much more than just an IG page right now. So, you know, it can potentially be a podcast that people can listen in on. It could be a coaching page, so kind of like a master's class into your
mm,
mindset, to how to deal with social media or any subject. It is limitless. It can be an educational platform, you
yeah.
know, all the way to giving seminars at universities, speaking to, you know, high school students, small things like that. Those are like, you know, campaigning, but also,
Mm,
you know, that's what I see No BS Factory becoming. It's to have like a
mm,
podcast one day with or without Misface of Humanity. It's gonna be that. Misface of Humanity is just giving me a huge platform for me to, you know, show my expose to, well, my
mm.
No BS Factory to the world, and hopefully, you know, people like that, because I do believe that, you know, it starts with the mindset, you know.
Mm. So your no BS
Factory.
factory is actually extending worldwide, right? No, it's not limited to a specific country or region.
No, so that's exactly it. No BS Factory is IG, you know, platform right now. One
Mm,
day it will be a podcast. So maybe perhaps if you're in China and, you know, IG is
mm.
not really limited, you know, it's
Yeah.
limited there, except for that. Otherwise, No BS Factory is for anyone. Anybody who has
Mm,
internet can go online and read these lessons and get these quotes and get these mindset advices and, you know, all that positivity, all that message, all that mindset. Anybody in the world can get it, and that's why it's free, it's out there, and that is my advocacy. So
wow. Okay. Amazing. Yeah. That's very amazing. Now, since you are very active also in social media, right? And now that you will be uh, representing Hong Kong in some sort of a pageant, but of course, Miss Face of Humanity doesn't want to call it as a pageant, but a global
okay.
showcase, right?
Yes.
But somehow there's a component of pageant there. So that's why we cannot get away from, calling it a pageant. But
Yes.
uh, have you encountered, I could hear, I mean, I could see a lot of, positive comments directed to you by your followers, by your friends and supporters. But at some point, have you encountered, internet bashers, someone who comments negatively and offensively? And how do you confront that? How do you handle such, negative people online?
You know what? That is the whole reason why I was one of the most controversial winners of Miss Hong Kong. So I don't know if you did a little bit of research, but I am easily like, during my reign, a lot of people were not happy about it because I'm not Chinese enough, because I'm
Mhm.
not, my skin is not, you know, white, more fair, you know, more
Yeah.
Asian. I don't have the features of a typical Asian, right? And so because I got so much hate from winning Miss Hong Kong, I felt that was my calling, that this is the whole reason why I'm here. Because me, growing up, I've always been such a confident person. I've always been the type of person to be like, you know, I'm just gonna do me. I don't care what you say, as long as what I do makes me happy, then
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why I should take that, your negative comments or your negative energy, into how I should live my life. And so when there was a lot of online controversy, and like I've gotten death threats, lots of hate speech. If you look at my picture for when I won, the first one that I ever
Mm.
posted, I have thousands of comments just going like, yuck, blah, blah, blah. It never faded me. It never phased me out. You know why? Because I know who I am. I'm confident in what I do. And my life is not about making you happy. It's about making me happy and the people around me happy. So I'm sorry if you're discontent, but tough, you know? So I was always like that kind of attitude. And because of that, I know that I can help change some other girl who doesn't have the same mindset and attitude, who do go through the same thing. And you don't even have to be a beauty queen to get all
Yeah.
those hate comments. You could be
Mm.
anyone in the world and you could be bullied online. It
Yes,
doesn't matter.
that's
And
true.
that's what's messed up in our society today. This is why it's so important to have this mindset, is because if you're young and you don't have this mindset, you can easily get influenced and yourself, and you can feel that your self-worth is nothing. And that's why we have suicides. That's why we have
Yeah.
people hurting themselves. And that is the whole point of having that no BS factory mindset. You
Mm.
know, it's to not take that BS out there and
Mm.
just do you, you know, be yourself, right? And so that is the whole reason why I started this. And I know you were asking if I've experienced it. 100%. I have been like a popular victim of
Mm.
online, you know, verbal abuse and hate speech and everything, you know. So um, that is the reason why it propelled me to be even more like, be who I am. You know what? I'm just going to
Mm.
continue, because you got to lead by example. If you live a life where you don't lead by, you're just talking about being a strong beauty queen, you're just, you need to walk the talk, you know?
Yeah.
And so when I was reigning for the whole year, I was still myself, and that's why, you know, I'm not as popular, or I don't have enough
Mm.
followers just like the other Miss Hong Kong. But I don't really care about that. I
Mm.
care about doing my thing, spreading my message. And if you like it, you like it. You don't like it, just don't follow me,
Mm.
you know? And so I think that's the attitude that I hope that other girls can convey as well.
Yeah, actually, at the end of the day, it's your authenticity that would really catapult you to, real higher level, right? And being genuine, you were right. I've always been emphasizing this, and I've been very emphatic about it, that you have to walk the talk. And that's one good thing about Miss Face of Humanity sisters, that your fellow, your Face of Humanity sisters, everybody is so passionate, about their respective advocacy, and they're really walking the talk, right? I mean, they really make it happen. They really pursue the advocacy, and it's not just a mere lip service. And you reinforce it right now as well.
Yeah, I hope so. You know, if there's anything about getting to know me, I hope that through what I'm talking about, somebody else can also be inspired and encouraged to be like, you know what, she's right. I should do
Mm.
me, you know, and I should give that power back to myself, right? Because this is your life.
Okay. So, having been based in Canada,
Hmm.
okay. So, what difference does have you experienced in terms of, the culture, the way people think, and things like
Yes.
that? I mean, is there much difference?
There's a huge difference. You know, over here in North America, we are taught to use our voices to, you know, speak up. It is encouraged, absolutely, to as a woman to say what you need to say and to fight for your rights and to do the right thing. In Asia, it is totally different. I find that in my culture, I'm Chinese, it's more conservative. You know, we are taught to be more submissive, or at least to be more quiet when we go through personal issues, because people don't want to lose face. You know, we are taught to be more discreet, and actually sometimes just not to even say anything. I am always the girl going like, excuse me, you know, I think there's
Mm.
something wrong here, you know, because
You
I'm
call
not
out.
afraid to ask that. I grew up, yes, and I grew up in a totally, I grew up in Canada, so I grew up in that Western mentality. But also when I was living in Hong Kong, I actually went to a French international school. So I grew up with a lot of Western, I guess, kids, and all of us are just known to, you kind of have to fight for yourself. Even in high school, like, when you're going through like high school, guys, like it is the like one of the most scariest places, through your lives if you didn't have that confidence, right? So, to say the least, I think there is a huge difference, and hopefully, I can spread that mindset across cultures that do need a little bit more of that understanding why you need to speak up for yourself. Why? Because it's really important. Because you want change. If you want change, you need to do something about it. You can't just not say anything. So I always encourage people to, be themselves, really, really be themselves, and not just be themselves when no one's around. Be themselves at work, at school, in anything that they do, right? So yeah, I do find there's a huge cultural difference.
Yeah.
But it's the beauty of the world that we're all different. We all have our traditions. There's many advantages of being more quiet, I agree. But at the same time, when it comes to you not feeling comfortable or you not being true to who you are, that's a violation of human rights. You should feel how you should feel, and you should be happy because of it, because it's your life.
Oh, okay. Actually, your advocacy encompasses a lot of things, right? And it covers mental health, educating people,
Social media,
empowering them.
yeah.
Yeah, a lot. No, it's a big, a platform, right? Mm.
Yes, it's actually so big that I had a lot of trouble trying to find a focus on No BS Factory for Misface of Humanity, because
Mm.
Misface of Humanity, it's very specific. A lot of the girls have a very specific campaign, right? For me, it's like, well, No BS Factory is about life coaching, right? Almost kind of, it's the mindset of being you, right? And so because of that applies in everything in life. So what I wanted to focus on mainly was the social media, just because our generation is so immersed in it. You see it everywhere, every day, every second. And that is something that is not necessarily a hot topic to talk about the problems of social media, because people use it all the time, but they are unaware of what it does to them.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, before we proceed, I would like to acknowledge the presence of Miss Face of Humanity Colombia, Laura Valderrama Ruiz. Hi, Laura.
Hi,
You
hi.
have so many sisters who are watching you, right?
So much pressure.
Okay. Okay. Now, it seems that you are a very, vocal person, right? And as you mentioned a while ago, this makes you a bit unpopular as compared to the other Miss Hong Kong,
Yeah.
right? Uh, what do you think? What do you think is the reason why, Hong Kongers
Mhm.
are not ready to embrace such kind of personality?
I think it's through the years of traditions that they've had. Honestly, I think that uh, traditionally, you want to crown someone who is super Chinese, who is very, does like the Chinese piano. For me, I sang an English opera song. I actually sang Sound of Music, and it was in English. I, why do they kind of resist that? I think it's just the society. They're so used to seeing what they're used to seeing, and because of that, change and anything different out of that is hard. And just like in life, change is hard. It really is hard
Yeah.
to advance, but as society and as people, you gotta advance, you gotta see progress, because life is about progressing, it's about moving forward. So the reason why I'm so vocal about what I do and who I am, and about really being true to yourself, and it's not just as easy as it looks, is that you want to help influence other people to also have that open mind, to also be progressive, to also be like, hey guys, we are like the city with the most innovation, the most, so luxurious, so beautiful. Like I love
Mm.
Hong Kong, I love my city, but we are yet so stuck in our traditional ways. And right now, it's not working. You see Hong Kong kind of just falling apart with all that democracy mess, which is
Yeah.
100%, it's so sad. But we are fighting, and I see the younger generations more so that fight for this, and the people who have grown up in, you know, the British, under the British rule, you know, so things like that. You know, I don't want to get too political, but the reason why it's so hard is because not a lot of people are have the courage to say it out loud. But I 100% tell you, they want to. It's just hard to come out of that closet,
Mm.
whatever it
Yeah.
is.
And it's a bit difficult, no, especially if the culture has been, you know, there for quite some time, and it's very, no matter how much people try to be like you, I mean, the fear of being rejected, the fear of being bashed is there, right?
Yes, and exactly, and that's the thing. It's like, if I want to say something or speak of something that is not a popular, you know, side, I am going to receive whatever the social media consequences are, and that's
Mhm.
okay. See, that's the thing. It's like you got to know that it happens in life, and you got to learn how to get over it, and you got to learn how to be strong, and you got to learn how to, you know, because everybody's first, like, for example, I don't know, everybody's first time riding a bike is going to be scary, but once you know, once you're doing it, you're going to love riding the bike, you know.
Yeah. Okay, again, I would like to interrupt because our Misface of Humanity Brazil is also watching. Hi, Lara.
Hi Laura. Thanks for joining.
Okay, you have so many viewers, no, from your sisters. Okay, so now it seems that you think very westernized, right? No, of course, you still preserve your Asian culture and your Asian values, but then the good thing is that you are outside the box. No, you think outside the box, and that's a good thing. I hope no, many people will, you know, get courage from you and to follow your footsteps because we need that. We need that. That's why you are the face and the voice of humanity, right?
Yeah,
Mm.
absolutely. It's really important. We do need that, and we need leaders and other girls and anyone to step forward and just have the same mindset. Because if you, so for example, if I'm good, what's my responsibility? My responsibility is to share it with everyone else. You know, my responsibility as a human being is to leave my mark on the world, right? In whatever that I do. So my, in my opinion, the way I'm going to leave my mark on the world is that I'm going to try to inspire as many people as I can to feel good about themselves, to be their true selves, and to be able to fight for themselves if they need to, you know, because that's really important
Mm.
in life. It's gonna take you very far, my loves.
Yeah. Okay, Juliet. As what I mentioned a while ago, you're not a newbie in the world of pageantry, right? And then, at this point, while preparing for the Miss Face of Humanity Global Showcase, haven't you felt any pressured at all? You know, competing again,
Of
things
course.
like that.
Of course. I mean, man, it's been, I'm so like, obviously the way I talk is a little bit more casual. So even just saying, man, you know, I am definitely nervous in the sense where it's been a while that I've been on stage. I'm so looking forward to it because I love being on stage. But that being said, I'm a one-man team, right? So because of, you know, I guess you say political reasons, I don't have a national director. I am doing everything on my
Oh.
own. I No BS Factory is my own campaign. I run everything by myself. I have to come up with all the speeches, with all the
Mm.
preparation. Everything is on me. And you know what?
Wow.
In some
Mm.
sense, that kind of gives me more power to be like, hey, let's see what I can really do, what kind of damage I can bring, you know?
Mm.
Like, and that to me does make me nervous on some days, because I'm just like, oh my God, I have to create the video, I have to edit. And, you know, luckily I'm an actor, so I kind of
Yeah.
know what I'm doing in that sense, right? So I do have experience in that field, creating content and whatnot, but I do sometimes worry because, yes, in terms of publicity, you know, I have to, if I wanted to reach out to, you know, CP24 or like our news channels over here, I really have to do that myself, you know. But
Yeah.
that being said, I am more than happy to take on the challenge. It is a lot, but you know, with doing this by yourself, I'm also learning a lot. And because now I'm going to gain so many skills into, you know, how to talk, how to not how to talk, sorry, how to create videos and editing and all that kind of stuff. It just kind of brings me back to kind of like university. So it's nice because, you know, you sit down there with your laptop and you're just thinking, okay, how can I really spread my message? How can I answer these questions in a meaningful way? How do I get my message across in 30 seconds? You know, if I have 10 seconds on stage,
Yeah.
which one do I grab? You know, what do I say? I think it's challenging, but it's also like a learning curve, which is great because at the end of the day, I am going to be more enlightened with this field.
Yeah. So, among the different, aspects of, pageantry, which do you find the most difficult in terms of, training and all?
So actually, fun fact, as much as I am
Mm.
loving acting and being on stage and being an actor, I have stage fright. I actually
Really?
I
It
do,
doesn't
but
show.
only in talking, only in talking.
Mm.
So if I'm on stage dancing, I am so ready because it's something that I know. If it's on stage singing, I do get stage fright. Anything that has to do with me talking or
Mm.
voice, I guess using my voice, I get frightened because I don't know. I think growing up, I went to a French school, so because one of our things that we had to do was to learn French poems and get up in front of the whole class and recite that poem like by memory. I think like as a kid, I was probably a little bit traumatized by that because I always like would fail because my parents don't speak French. I'm the only one in my family that does speak French. So learning these, you know, poems were so
Mhm.
is so hard, right? And because of that, I'm like, oh, I'm really scared of talking in front of people. And so that, I think that is the reason why I have stage fright. So that would be my greatest challenge, but I'm working on that. I've had some great advice about, you know, focusing on one person out in the audience and just pretending you're like only talking to them. And so
Mm.
things like that. And I think eventually for me, after the nerves pass, I do settle down, but it kind of has to happen first. So
Mm.
I don't know, maybe I'm going to be able to control that on the day of the show. So
Mm.
hopefully it's
Yeah,
the case.
that's very ironical, no? Because we are viewing you as a very articulate, confident woman, and then we never thought that among all these aspects, it's the talking or the speaking that you.
It's actually, so right now I'm not nervous talking to you, but when it
Mm.
comes down to like silent room and it's
Mm.
just me and the mic,
Yeah. Mm.
that's where the nerves comes in. It's not with dancing or with
Mm.
performing on stage. I can catwalk no problem with so much confidence, but
Yeah.
you're talking about giving me the stage and like
Mm.
thousands of people hearing me, then yeah, that's when I get nervous. So I just want to
Mm.
clarify.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think that is something normal, no? No matter how
Yeah.
experienced or seasoned you are, if you are about to speak in that kind of, scenario, you would really feel, somehow nervous. But then the thing is, we can overcome it immediately, right?
Yes,
At
I think
some point.
eventually you get over it
Yeah.
and the feeling does pass and your nerves do calm down. But I feel like the audience can be very empathetic about that as well. You know, as long as you're relatable and you're trying to,
Mhm.
hey guys, like I'm really nervous. Just give me a second. You know, even that, just to get yourself to, you know, come back down to earth because
Mhm.
your mind is probably somewhere else. It's totally okay, you know.
Okay, so I'm curious to know some of your thoughts on different global issues. Like, for example, I know you're very westernized in terms of the way you think and in your perspective, but what is your view on same-sex marriage?
For sure. That is, I am all pro same-sex marriage. If you want to go into that route, I am definitely for LGBTQ community because it is going back to you being true to yourself, and that is the campaign that I am trying to, advocate for. It's really important because if you can't be yourself and be with the person that you love and be happy because that person brings you so much joy, then yeah, we do have a problem in human rights. So
Mhm.
I am pro same-sex marriage, and I am because it definitely is the same value of you being true to yourself and just you chasing your own happiness. So yeah, I don't know how else to say it.
Yeah.
I'm definitely
Mhm.
for love. I think
Yeah.
that's for love, that's for humanity, and
Mm.
that's
Yeah,
worth it, right?
the reason, Juliet, why I asked you this and why I keep on asking this to your fellow sisters is because, you have some fellow sisters who live in a country where LGBTQ plus community is actually not yet properly accepted or embraced,
Yes,
and they struggle discussing such topic, and we do
absolutely.
understand them, but that's why I'm always, I'm always integrating this question to each one of you, no.
Yeah, for sure. And it's a good question, because to be honest, I understand religious followings, right? I
Mm,
respect them 100%. But at the end of the day, no matter what religion that you're from, or no matter where you're brought up in what country, it is hard to, yeah, certain countries, because of the restrictions, they don't allow you to really be who you are. I do find that sad, and I hope that people
mm,
can at least come to the most basic understanding of being a human being is to live, to be yourself, to be happy. These three things, no matter where you're from, everybody deserves the same respect. We're all human. So if it comes down to eventually, being with someone that makes you really happy and that person happens to be the same sex, then that is how your feelings are. You cannot invalidate someone's feelings. So at the minimum, I hope that no matter, even if you're from an opposing view, that you can at least agree to this principle, right?
mm,
That, you should be yourself. You should feel the way you should. And that's what the universe gave you. That is the feelings
mm,
that you have a God-given right to feel, and
mm.
there shouldn't be anything wrong with that. You can't take that away from someone, I think. And I think that
Mm.
is a big crime. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, now let's talk about the pandemic. At the start of the pandemic, you were in Canada when you experienced all this pandemic, right?
Yes, I was.
So, what was the greatest lesson that you've learned out of this pandemic?
For sure. And I think I'm just gonna let you know in advance that I do have to go soon. This was like
Mhm.
it's 4:30, so I have to
Okay, okay.
be
So
somewhere.
we will wrap up the
So
last two questions. So,
no worries. So my greatest lesson with this COVID, since the pandemic, I think it would be to change your perspective, really. I know I've repeated that so many times before as to our prior discussion, but it is not the worst thing in the world, you being stuck in quarantine. I know it
mm,
sucks. I get it. All these rules, all these things that we have to go through together, there are worse situations. If you have a bed, if you have hot water, if you have your, like warm blankets, that in itself you should be grateful for. So if you can change your perspective,
mm,
try to find a happiness in the good things in life. That is, I think that is my best advice, and that's my greatest lesson, because yeah, it does suck when you are alone, and everything just feels like it's going, like the world is on fire and
mm.
everything. So try to change the perspective. There's bad news, but there's also, and there's always, there's gonna be good news.
Okay, last question, Juliette.
Yeah,
Why should you be crowned as the Misface of Humanity Global Ambassador?
for sure. I knew you were going to ask me that question. So, to be honest, that question, I find that why should I myself be crowned? I think everybody should be crowned. But I think if I was crowned, let me just tweak that question a little. If I was crowned Miss Face of Humanity 2021, I would continue blowing up my no BS factory mindset to another level, on a global level. Right now, it is obviously anybody can have access to this information, but I want to make it a full-time thing that I do, which is, to have it make a podcast, to make it an educational thing, to interview other leaders and other people who have the same values and mottos, to spread that message so that people can get that mindset. Small little things to make it even more powerful as it is, so that people can live life as, and take back the power that they can. That is why I think I can spread this message with my energy, like you were saying. I would be able to really focus on that and hopefully make it into something bigger than just an IG page. And I think,
Wow.
yeah, I think that's one way to answer the question. I'm sorry if I didn't really. Why
Yeah.
should I be crowned?
Yeah, but it's good.
I
It's good.
don't
I've
want it
learned
to
a
be
lot. I've
a
learned a lot
title.
from you. I was able to get some inspiration from the things that you've said. And I would like to take this opportunity of thanking you for the time. I know you're a very busy person, being a one woman show, doing the
Yes.
one woman show for the Space of Humanity, but you still have given me this opportunity. And my apology for the delay of the interview. So I will really follow you, including your No BS
Thank
Factory.
you.
I'm searching it right now, actually. And again, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. I'm looking forward to another encounter with you because, I think time is so short. Talking to a woman like you, I mean, we could learn
Thank you.
a lot of things. And I want to meet you soon in person. I hope, not hope, no, definitely it will happen soon. So good luck to your journey. And ladies and gentlemen, let's give a warm round of virtual hug and applause to
Welcome here,
our Misfits of
everyone.
Humanity in Hong Kong. Last word before we leave.
Yes, thank you so much, everyone, for joining in. Whoever did come in, I hope you guys were inspired, and I hope you guys will live your life happy and be your true selves.
Thank you so much. You're a beautiful soul,
Thank you.
very articulate. So good luck and thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank
Yeah.
you so much as
Bye.
well.
Thank you for
Bye.
those who watch. Thank you.